Hey there, it's Christian from 7 Gaming Network. Sorry if I sound a little bit funny, struggling with a sore throat at the moment, but I had to tell you about this experience because ever since Lobot was spoiled, I've been trying to work out how can I make use of that really very good looking special. And of course I immediately started to think about using him with C3PO because that means we're going to get that special off very consistently. And then I wanted to look at, well, who can I pair him with that's going to make the most of 2 extra? Who's got big dice already that I can really abuse? And ideally I want to go 4 dice, 2 of Lobot and 2 of whoever. And with the theme fitting marvellously, it's actually Lando seems to be a really great fit with him. Now the reason Lando's such a good fit with him is, of course, he's got the 2-for-1 discard, which if you can resolve with Lobot becomes a 4-for-1, which is massive. And of course you've also got his 3-for-1 resource side on Lando, which becomes a 5-for-1. So you're getting essentially 2 resources off both of those dice because you're using the Lobot special up. Fine, off character dice, I'll take that. But when it gets really cool is when you can do things like we're playing red with Lobot, so we can hit and run. So it feels really nice to be able to roll out Lando, maybe roll the 2-for-1 discard or that 3-for-1 resource, and then hit and run on Lobot and hopefully hit that special. And of course if you don't, we could always have 3PO in first, and then once we hit and run on Lobot, it doesn't really matter what we roll with him. Nice if we roll the special, but we'll be able to get at least 1 special off. So that creates a whole bunch of really good possibilities for generating, quite frankly, enormous amounts of resources, or really devastating our opponent's hand in sort of the second action of the round, which is a very powerful thing. So what I wanted to do is show you a little game here. This is quite literally the first round of a Landobot build that I'd done. This was first time putting the deck together, first time playing these 2 characters. Now I am playing against someone who was fairly new to Destiny, but actually, as you can see, this is kind of a deck that can kind of, especially that first turn, just roll and just do its thing. And so yeah, so I really wanted to show you what this what this actually looks like. So we'll go to our game here. Now you can see our starting hand here. We joined very early on in the game, but our starting hand here was the hit and run, so that's quite nice. We've got a Millennium Falcon, great. I've put a Z95 Headhunter in there in case for some reason we're struggling with resources in that first round, we don't hit the sides we want, and I want to get something out in that first round. And we've also got strategic, whatever that is, strategic planning I think it's called, which is really great when you're running big supports. And we've got a ghost in there. So I roll out my Lando first, and I roll the focus and I roll a 1 gun. Now I tend to think with something like this, I mean I'd force the issue here a little bit. Yes, I could try and do something with Lobot and try and fix things, but actually what I decided, you know what, I'm just going to put it straight to the 3-for-1. Now many people would then try and remove that potentially. My opponent doesn't, but also it's a bit naff, like having to try and remove a 3-for-1. But I think if you're coming up against this sort of combination, this is where you're going to need to use your removal, because this would actually make a massive difference if he'd got rid of that. But so you can see the potential power of this sort of combination, this is what I wanted to show you. So he re-rolls his Chirrut dice. That's fair enough. Now I decide, well, I'm going to hit and run, because if I can hit and run on Lobot and hit the special, then I'm going to resolve that 5-for-1 dice, which is particularly tasty. So I roll it, and sadly I don't hit the special, but I do roll another resource. So it seems to me pretty sensible. I'll take 3 resources, please. that puts me at 6. So now of course I'm thinking, right, I can play the Falcon, or I could play Ghost and maybe the Headhunter, or I could play Ghost and I've also got the strategic planning play. So I sort of start working out what am I most likely to want to do here, and I think, well, I've still got the Lando, still got the Lobot dice out there, so I could still potentially get another special off. So so I decided to play the Ghost for 4. I mean, this is nice already. Getting a Ghost off in that first round is solid. You know, getting a 4-cost support into play early on is really powerful. Starting with 3 resources of Lando is really good. So he takes a resource over there, nothing special, and I decide to roll out my Ghost here next, I think. Now this is really nice. I hit the 2 resource side, so that's going to put me back up to 4 resources, and then I'm thinking, do you know what? I've got every possibility here now of strategic planning that Ghost and trying to see. He claims, okay, so I've got free reign here now. So I take my 2 resources, and of course I've still got the Lobot dice out, so I could still get a special off here, and whatever I roll, increase it by +2. So I pay 1 for that strategic planning, and I'm happy here if I just get, I mean, if the special goes off, great, of course I'm going to be able to resolve the 2 resource side, and that's what happens. So resolve that, gain another 2 resources. This is why I really like Ghost. That 2 resource side on Ghost is fantastic, and it's got some decent damage. I mean, it's just a great die, really solid die. And I get to play at Millennium Falcon round 1. I roll that into the 2 focus, and here I decide, you know what, I just need to go for a big round here, and I re-roll the both of them, and I hit the special, and it's the discard side. He's got 4 cards in hand. So there we go, I'll discard all 4 cards, please, thank you very much. And there you go. I mean, that's a pretty exciting first round. Now I noticed he did actually have a guard and an overconfidence in there. So you could say, well, you're a bit fortunate that you're playing against someone who decided not to remove that 3 for 1, which is what a lot of people would have done. Absolutely, and that's definitely something that, you know, will need to be taken into account. But it doesn't take away from the fact that in the first round there, of the very first time I've played this combination of characters with my initial build, which is in no way going to be a really solid build, we just managed to hard cast a Ghost and a Millennium Falcon and discard 4 cards from our opponent's hand. I mean, that is a lot of power wrapped up in these 2 characters. And I think there's a massive number of ways that you could take a build like this. Okay, we're going to be slow because we're playing those supports, but Lobot is making our supports really scary. I mean, the sides on Millennium Falcon, they become ridiculous when you're adding 2 to them all. And one of the things I do really like about this is it's easy to play out a Sonic Cannon. You just got so many resources. I went on in this game to play out Sonic Cannon and resolve it very easily. And another thing, of course, because you've got these big supports and these big dice on Lando, getting a planned explosion off is really not hard, which is why I've decided to go with the Awakenings Falcon. It's a bit more expensive, but the special on that, you know, we could potentially be getting off 2 planned explosions in 1 round and doing 20 damage. I mean, it's unlikely because, of course, you're removing a lot of dice to get that the planned explosion to happen. But this can play with a lot of big dice, and so yeah, I feel like there's definitely legs in this, especially after having a first round like that. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, then feel free to subscribe to the channel, and if you want to get a little bit more in depth with this kind of stuff, then I've got a Patreon, which would be great to have you come and join. You can join for just as little as $1 a month, and join in with all the others and all the chat and the discussion and the swapping of tactics, and of course getting to see a few more videos like this as well. So come and join the network if you want to. Quick shout out to swdestiny.com. Mike runs a great site over there, and if you haven't checked it out, then please go and do so. He hosts loads of other great content providers like Tiny with Smuggler's Den, and loads of great articles on there all the time. And of course, I'm always going to shout out Knights of Ren, which again, if you haven't listened to it, is definitely one of the very best podcasts that we have in our Destiny community. And if you're into sort of competitive style stuff, then you totally need to check out the Knights of Ren podcast. Anyway guys, until next time, keep enjoying your Destiny.